Hello everyone, today I will show you how you can get tin seeds here in Reclamation mod pack. Let's have a look at the recipe. This is the recipe in the infusion altar. You will need 4 tertium essences and some tin related materials. A quick note about tertium essence in mystical agriculture. There are, let's say, tier of seeds. Some of them require prudentium, some of them require tertium, like the tin seed. There's imperium and supremium as well. So if you are able to switch from the runic altar production of tertium into the metallurgic infuser production of tertium, this is going to be very, very good for you because it will save you time and resources. You can craft the metallurgic infuser with redstone, osmium, iron, and 2 furnaces. And then you power this machine, which is this one over here, either with electricity. You can watch my video on electricity, or with redstone powder over here. Now, let's have a look at the tin ingredients that we're going to need for these seeds and how we can get them. So we need a tin block, which means 9 ingots. We need tin dust, which is 1 ingot, but in the crusher that becomes dust. That means we already need 10 ingots. And for the tin clumps, you need 1 ore. That will give you 3 clumps. So we need 10 ingots and 1 ore. Best way to get these things is by getting 2 tin ores. And how do you get the tin ores? Is by using the orchid flower. Now, why do we need 2 ores? Because we will keep one of the ores for the tin clumps, and we will use the other ore to duplicate tin via theurgy. That is what we will do. So let's start. Let me put on my flying suit and let me show you the orchid flower. This is the orchid flower. Let me see the recipe. So you need green petals, yellow petals, red petals, gray petals, pixie dust. Pixie dust, that means that you have to have the elven portal on. If you don't have the elven portal on, you cannot get tin seeds. Okay? Redstone root and runes, greed and pride. This is just redstone and fern. And the elven portal that gives you that material is in the 4th chapter over here, the portal to Alfheim. So let me briefly show you the elven portal, what it looks like. This is what it looks like. Some mana pools, the Natura pylons, and this structure over here. It's a very significant part of the game, and it's also like a milestone. So if you can get the elven portal, you should get it. So we have to assume that you have that in order to get the material, the pixie dust, which is mana pearl thrown inside the portal, and it comes back as pixie dust. So the orchid flower, if you place around it stone, it's going to turn it into ores. You're going to need a mana pool So the flower requires mana. Either you throw in there a mana tablet, or you create a system that will generate mana. And here I have a system. I have 4 floating endoflames. You can also use normal endoflames, but floatings are better because you don't have to stand on something. And then you will use coal, preferably blocks of coal. And I use the drawers and an andesite funnel because the funnel takes the coal out and it floats here, and the end of flames can get it and consume it. The end of flames are connected to an elven mana spreader, or you can use a normal mana spreader, and the mana pool. It will take some time with the setup. It's not instant because it takes time for the mana pool to fill, and the orchid consumes a lot of mana. But it's enough. As you see here, everything is full. Like in the beginning, I used to have much more stone. Like everything here around was full of stone. Then I didn't need so much, and I just left a wall around it. Yeah. So let us make an example. Some stone. Just putting some stone so that there's something for the orchid flower to convert. And then let's get some coal. I have to remove my ring of magnetization, otherwise the coal will run back to me. It may be loud. So I'm going to briefly pause the video because I want to capture a phantom in a jar. Be right back. Well, sadly the phantoms don't want to come over here, so we're continuing the video. So the orchid flower now is going to have some mana available, and it will start converting the stone into ore. Here we have 2 tin ores. Let's just sink another tin ore down there, another tin ore down there. Tin ore. I believe there's a 10% chance, if I remember correctly, for tin ore to happen. So I'm getting my 2 tin ores. I have a little bit of mana here. I just want you to hear the sound it makes. Yeah, that's the sound when the orchid is converting stone into ores. Yeah, you saw that it must be coal down there. More coal. Copper, etc. Okay, so now that we have our 2 tin ores, let's go back in one of the tin ores we will need for the tin clamps, but because it's a little bit complicated, we will leave that for the end. The other we will use to duplicate. Now you can also just wait until you gather 10 more tin ores and convert them into ingots. Or you can do this duplication thing that we will do here. So you will need a liquefaction cauldron. You will need the incubator. And you will also need the reformation. The pedestals over here. So first we need to get the sulfur. So let's place the tin ore there. Some lava under it. And it gives us actually five sulfurs, which is amazing because every sulfur means one ingot. So basically we only need like 5 more sulfurs. Now let's check the sulfur. So the sulfur turns into tin. And how can we duplicate the sulfur? With reformation, either you get some common metals sulfur or common metals nether. Let's just do the sulfur because it's easier. All you need is iron. If you have iron or any of these things, lead, osmium, zinc, let's use iron. It's simple and easy. So let's take 5 iron ingots and put them there. They will turn also into sulfur. Actually, I'm going to use 6 because I want to keep one in case something happens. And I need to duplicate tin ore again. So we have 6 iron and 5 tin. I'm going to keep 1 tin over here with all my other sulfurs. Now I will place 1 tin sulfur on the target pedestal and the 6 iron sulfurs on the source pedestal. You need a mercury catalyst. The mercury catalyst needs to have mercury, to work. And now the tin sulfur is being transformed into nothing. The iron sulfur is being transformed into tin. So we have 6 over here and 1 over here. It's 10 plus the one we have in here, but we're keeping it in case we need to duplicate that again. So in the incubator, in the sulfur vessel, we put the sulfur, mercury vessel, the shards, incubator, salt vessel, alchemical salt minerals, and now let's burn it. A little trick here. You see here that the sal ammoniac is not full. If you use a bucket of sal ammoniac, right click on it, you both keep the sal ammoniac in the bucket and this is filled. As long as it's missing less than 1000, because the bucket can hold 1000. If you use it for anything less than 1000, you get to keep the bucket. So, this is the tin ore that we have for the clumps. Let's start getting our ingots. Ooh, they're ready actually. Great. So, we will create the tin block. And now we will go up in our machines area. We are going to use a crusher to get the tin dust. So you need to craft the crusher. You're going to need redstone, 2 lava buckets, steel casing, which is osmium, glass, and steel, and basic control circuits. Easy to craft, just redstone and osmium, and you get the circuits. In the metallurgical infuser, you get that in this machine over here. So, for the tin dust, we built the crusher. This is the crusher here. And we got our tin dust. We have tin block and tin dust. Tin block, tin dust. Now let's get the clamps. The clamps require a machine. They require a purification chamber and also flint. You can get flint either with essences or gunpowder in the mana pool. Do we have any here? Let me quickly get some flint. Okay, now the purification chamber requires you to build the enrichment chamber before that. Osmium infused alloy, that's redstone and iron in the metallurgical infuser. The advanced control circuits is basically the basic control circuits with infused alloy, so it's a little bit of a crafting situation here. But once you manage to get the purification chamber, you have it. And the enrichment chamber in the middle. I don't remember if I mentioned that. So once you have the purification chamber, do we have one? Ah, this is the purification chamber. So let me explain this because it's a little bit of a situation here. So you need the tin ore, the one that we saved. You need flint down here, and in the middle you need oxygen, and that's how you get the tin clumps. The problem now here is how you get the oxygen. And for that, you need another machine. You need the electrolytic separator. Yeah, that's the least complicated way of all these ways. The electrolytic separator is the least complicated way to get oxygen. Basically, this machine takes water and it separates the water into hydrogen and oxygen. Now, if you're in the beginning of mechanism and you're not very familiar with it, I would recommend building this machine, putting water in it, and then using the gauge to get the oxygen out of it. because that's the easiest way. If you don't know mechanism, just craft a gauge, the gauge dropper, this one, gauge. It's basically osmium and glass panels. My PC just froze. Okay, so this here is an electrolytic separator. You don't even need to hook it into water, just use a sink and the gauge dropper. Do not connect it, do not use any pipes if you don't want to learn these things. Just use the gauge dropper on a sink and then go over here and with right click place the water there. If you keep right clicking, it gets more water. So you just put water there and then you activate it and it will start producing hydrogen and oxygen. So right now it's not doing anything because I have clicked here dumping access. If I do idle, now let's take some water. Place it here. So hydrogen full and oxygen is here. So you just take this one, left click to get a little bit of oxygen. You need only 200 MB. And once you have this, you go into your purification chamber here and you put it with right click. You put it there. Left you take, right you give. So now let's put one flint here and one tin ore here. Does it need more than one tin flint? It took 2. And that's how you get the tin clamp. Now for the rest, if you want to delete the liquid that you have in the gauge dropper, shift and right click in the air and it's gone. And for the rest, you just need prosperity seeds like with every other type of seed. And that's how you get tin seeds, guys. So thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.